Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tutorials of Tone. My name is Alex. Thank you so much for watching this video. Our topic for the day, Life is a Highway, the Rascal Flatts version. If you're in a country band, or even some rock bands, chances are you're going to cover this huge smash hit, which was also featured in the movie Cars. There are a couple versions of this preset, one that is authentic to the original gear, and one that is for a little bit heavier tastes. Let's dive right into this preset and get you rocking. First up, we have our input block. Everything is at stock settings except the threshold of our gate, which is at negative 47.5 dB. It's where I like having it for my Morse Music Man guitars. I am on the bridge humbucker throughout this entire tune. Next in our chain, we have our wah block. I have this set up to John Petrucci's Crybaby settings. We have 240 Hz min, 1500 Hz max. You can, of course, go up to 1850 or thereabouts. That is the max threshold. I personally like having it a little bit lower, each their own. And we have the infamous mountain of a graphic EQ, giving us a really healthy boost in the mid-range to really push the front of the amp, get a nice throaty, scooped sound. Our wah is also set to auto-engage when we're at a medium position, so as you extend your expression pedal, see that the block engages, and then when you're heeled down, it bypasses. I'm really only using this for extended leads and outro solos in this song. Otherwise, there's no wah on the original recording. For Life is a Highway V3, we're trying to be as authentic as possible to the original recording and the artists, so I'm using the Euro Red and Blue models for anything distorted. For this overdrive, we're using Euro Red. As this amp has heaps of gain available to it, we have the gain set to 2.5, the bass turned down to 2.5 as well, with the cut switch engaged, treble turned up to 7.5 with the bright switch engaged. Note that the bright cap on these amps is very low, so you're not really getting a lot of high shrill. The presence is turned up just above 6.5, no depth added, and the master volume is down to 3.25. I have a 66 Hz low cut and 8500 Hz high cut on the overdrive. For our leads, we are using the Euro Blue Modern. This runs contrary to what you would think we would use, with red being high gain, blue being a little lower. This is what they used on the original recordings, and it works really well for us here. For the Euro Blue Modern, we have the gain up to 7.5, but we also have an input boost. At neutral boost type, 15 dB, pushing the front of the amp. This really just helps us sustain, soar over the mix. Really nice without being too overly saturated. We have the bass turned down to 3, no cut switch or bright switch engaged on this channel. Our treble is again turned up to 7.5, and our presence at the same setting as before, just above 6.5. This is a really nice way to just get the voicing of the amp to speak for itself and changing gain structures, but really trying to keep the tone as homogeneous as possible. We're running all of that into a pair of Bogner cabs, 4x12s, with a 57 and a 121, just evenly mixed. Got a 60 Hz low cut and a 10K high cut on our cab. All of that runs into a medium plate reverb, which is running in parallel, just to give us a little bit of ambient squish. There's not a lot on this one. We're down to negative 20 dB, but it really helps just add a little breath, maybe in a sterile environment or in board or live recordings. For our leads, we are using a dual delay, the John Petrucci short dual delay to be specific, 450 milliseconds on the left, 700 milliseconds on the right. We've got this mixed down a bit at negative 15 dB, and it's really nice to just add this cascading tone on top of our leads so we can really soar in those lead moments. All of that is running into a filter block which has our trusty 3 dB boost attached to it. The next tone in this preset that we only use in the bridge section is the clean chorus sound. This is using a Marshall Plexi, a 100 watt. Very low gain settings here, 2 and 2 for normal and treble gain. Our bass is turned down, but our mids and trebles up. Master volume is pretty stock there. Nothing to speak of for input EQ. That sounds like this. It is also worth mentioning that we have a stereo tape delay on this one at a quarter note of our standard time, which is 103 BPM. If your tempo fluctuates, there is also a tap tempo option on your FC controller for this preset. This is set at a very healthy level of -5 dB in parallel. So a lot of that delay just to allow you to strum big whole notes and get the sound you need. And the final scene in here, which is optional, we have this clean tone. It's really an edge of breakup sort of thing, or a very low gain thing. It's a Plexi 100 watts again. We have our treble gain and normal gain turned up to 3. Our bass takes a little bit of a bump. Our mids and trebles are at 6.5, and our bright switch is engaged. A little bit of presence and depth there as well, and that sounds like this. As opposed to our overdrive sound. Gets a little bit more authentic for what they did in the studio, but if you're in a live environment, sometimes it's nice to just hit them with a healthy dose of overdrive. For our input EQ, nothing to speak of on that clean for the low cut, but we do have an 8500 Hz high cut. For both of our Marshall tones, we switch away from the Bogner cabs and we go into 4x12 Marshall cabs, a 1960B with a V30 and a 1960A with a 57 rolled off 2.5 dB. There's no low cut on this cab, but there is a 10K high cut. Now we're going to compare Life is a Highway V3 to the tones set up in V2. Again, V3 is more towards the authentic. We're going for the Bogner sound and the Marshall Plexis for our cleans, whereas V2 is going towards the Mesa Boogie thing, something I'm more familiar with and comfortable with, having grown up with those amps. Let's hear those. Well, that about does it for this video and these presets. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you get the most out of your Fractal unit when this song is next called on your next gig. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, there's plenty more throughout the channel. Other tutorials of tone, Fractal 101s, gear reviews, playthroughs, etc. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next time.